We did it, guys. We hit 100 subscribers. I know it's a big deal. I just want to thank all my 100 subscribers for following my channel, even though I don't put out anything for content. But we're doing it big this season. We're doing it real big. I've never finished a car on this channel ever. Any one of my projects, I just watched some random ass videos last night. Never finished a car. We're gonna do it right here, so stay tuned. Hopefully my parts show up today so we can start working on the car, get some more content. So yeah, we're gonna do a $1 giveaway for the 101st subscriber. So if you're the 101st subscriber, you get $1. I know, going big this season. For anyone still watching, I'm gonna do a little progress update on the 240. So, new car, new chassis. You guys obviously have seen it before. This is the car that we've been working on for like the past few months. So, a lot of work has been going in the past, I don't know, month. The big thing with this build is just try a bunch of new things, parts that I haven't done before. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm not really on a deadline, but I am, because I have like an event in April, but I'm trying to do a test day here in Idaho before the test day at Highland. So we'll see what happens, but let me take you around the car, kind of show you, catch you up to speed, show you what I've been doing, and we'll go from there. So starting in the front, just because this is kind of the worst area. Obviously we've got the SR out, but yeah, engine bay is kind of at a standstill, and the reason for that is because I pulled both the front and the rear subframes out because I wanted to get them painted, and also I had to modify the front subframe, so I wanted to kind of get all that stuff done, and to get the engine bay cleaned and pressure washed and degreased, and kind of get like this frame rail cleaned up, just because the master cylinder was leaking. I needed to get the subframes finished. So we got the front subframe modified. We're kind of going with the whole C's Garage Naoki animal style front setup, which is super basic. It's pretty much what we've run in the past, minus the wheel spacers. So what that entails is just a simple tie rod setup, lower control arms, pretty much S14 length, which is what I'm using, and I'll kind of show those to you right here. These are just, you know, braced, modified lower control arms. I got new ball joints coming for them, so that's why they're not in the car yet. But they're extended 25 millimeter, which is pretty much the same as S14. Stance, or sorry, SPL. Tension rods, their offset tension rods should give us a little bit more wheel clearance. Doing some stance coilovers, which still need to go on the car, obviously. And that's pretty much the setup for the front end. Super basic, should give us a bunch of angle, and then we got some wheel spacers too. I'll be running like a 17x9 up front. And I cannot wait to get some wheels on this car and finally get it rolling again. So front needs to get finished. Rear is almost done. That's what I'm working on today. I'm super excited for the rear end, and the reason why is I've always wanted to do a 300ZX rear brake setup. I've always done 5-lug. I've done bigger calipers in the rear. I've done bigger calipers up front, but what I've never done is 300ZX parking brake. And the reason for that is I'm not a huge fan of hydraulic. I'm sure it works great. I'm sure it's probably better, but I just like a stock handbrake. We're all finished up. I just installed the subframe. Just got some new parking brake shoes on here. Reassembled everything. That was kind of a pain in the ass first time doing it. 5 lugs all finished. Got just some Megan arms on here. They're nothing special, just stuff that I had sitting on the shelf, which is completely fine with me. just because I want to get this thing rolling. I want to get it out on the street as quick as I can. So with that, we reinstalled the S13 subframe, and it was more for a time constraint thing. On this subframe, I just spray painted the subframe black, along with all the arms and stuff like that, just to try to clean it up. I did do a full energy bushing install on this, so you can kind of see it in there. You know, I was pretty stoked on that. And on top of that, since we're using the stock bushing, the energy suspension kit comes with these inserts, and they just slip right up inside there. On top of that, when I bought my car, I found some PBM subframe bushings, like inserts. So I'm thinking with the inserts and the spacers, we'll be completely fine. We're not going to get the same amount of traction as we would like with the S14 subframe, but that's fine for now. So obviously the rear end's not complete. We're still we need to put the coilovers in there. We need to adjust them to the right height. We'll slap those in there. But on top of that, another thing that I've never done is I've always gone with a welded diff. So I had a spare 410 sitting around. I went and I got an Xterra front diff, and I swapped. I had a buddy help me, but we swapped it out. This is a 4/6 ring and pinion, which is like awesome. But on top of that, my buddy Alex over in Seattle hooked me up with a Cause two-way, which obviously is not in here. It's in another diff. As far as aesthetics and kind of bodywork and stuff like that, I'm not too worried about getting that done right now. I'm gonna do some like side skirts, front lip, rear valances, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. And I would love to get this thing painted. Obviously it's gonna go black, but for now it's straight. It's well, it's mostly one color with a bunch of paint fade on it, which is whatever. But there's not a lot of dings and dents on it, so I'm completely okay with that. Let's get these inserts installed and see what else we can't do today. Alright, I already ran into an issue. So we have to do a little hybrid setup. So top one fits in just fine. But the bottom one, I realized, and I should have known this, that with those energy suspension inserts, these don't sit up into there. They don't sit up all the way inside there. So we're not gonna use the bottom ones. Boom, hot diggity. We're good to go. Everything's in there, all bolted in pretty good. So, had to modify some things. I'll try to show you that. The stock e-brake needed a little extending. See if we can get a better shot of this. Need a little extending, so I made this bracket. It's just gonna bolt to these holes. So those right there, gonna bolt to these holes, and then there's your stock e-brake mount. So both the e-brake cables will bolt into this right here, and then now you have independent, so kind of like a hydro, I guess. Spider shit everywhere. So kind of like a hydro, but without using hydraulic fluid. So here's what it looks like all hooked up. It's all bolted in. I hope that I got my measurements right for where they need to be bolted up. Once we get the rotor put on, we'll give it a couple little test pops and see how it feels and hope for the best. All right, got those adjusted. Got the e-brake adjusted. So now we're getting lockup like right there, which is pretty good. The only thing I don't like is how far I had to adjust this out. There's not much thread left there, so I might try to play with it, might just try to leave it. I assume it has something to do with the way that I kind of built it. We'll run with it for a little bit until it starts getting a little bit weaker. I think what we're gonna do is start taking the front and rear calipers I got some new pads for them. They're kind of an upgrade. It says Moo right there, but they're not Project Moos. And we got this serious dude, Mr. Grouch. They're both aluminum twin turbo, so we have 4-piston front, 2-piston rear. So these things are going to be pretty beefy. I still have leftover adapters for 300ZX to S13. So these calipers aren't the best, but I literally paid 120 bucks for both fronts. Killer deal. I think I got them from Tweakers, but oh well. What I would recommend doing if you're gonna reuse everything is just take some very light sandpaper and just clean up the surface of these pistons, because that's gonna slide on the shim itself. So you're gonna grease this a little bit, and that's gonna ride on there. So you don't want it squeaking. If I were doing the seals, I would just get these powder coated and make them look all nice, but we'll do that later on. My goal right now is to not get lost in a bunch of small details when I can easily take a wheel off, pull these off, and completely redo them at any point in time. It's not like pulling an engine, transmission, something like that. Alright, I'm all done with the brakes. The only bad thing is this is the spring that was on there, kind of like the slider pin retainer clip, and then the new kit came with these C-clips, but it didn't come with enough for both sides, so I'm gonna go get some more at Ace, but for the most part those are all done. Unfortunately the rear didn't come with any new hardware, so I had to clean up this stuff as much as I could, but these are pretty much all done. From there we need to get some conversion lines for the rear calipers, and then other than that, just keep continuing on with little bits. I'm saving the SR kind of until the chassis is finished. I don't want to have a bunch of open projects while I'm working on this thing. It just gets me into a weird mood, but the SR will come after the chassis is completely rolling. We'll start putting this thing together with all the new components, clean it up a little bit, maybe try to find like a new oil pan. This is where we're at. Probably gonna end the video here. I super appreciate anybody who's actually watching these videos. I'm still trying to figure out what direction I want to go with, but one thing I do want to say is I think I'm going to change the name of this channel. I have a t-shirt design that I'm coming out with that I think is pretty cool. I designed it for pretty much myself, and if anybody buys it, I'm super stoked. If not, it's whatever. I'll wear my own t-shirt. I don't get it. I don't care. So okay, until probably tomorrow. Hopefully parts show up. See you guys later.